Andrew, how important is it for you guys on Saturday to build on that defensive performance that you had against Air Force?
Definitely. It's extremely important. We didn't start the season off the way we wanted to at all. And Air Force was a great bounce back game for us. We played exactly how we wanted to play. And that type of game, that's where your fundamentals are crucial. And I think we executed that at a great level. And so carrying off of that game, that's just something that we have to keep improving on is using our fundamentals to the best of our ability, especially at the high level that we're playing at right now. If our offense keeps going, the sky's the limit for this defense. So
Has that been the point of emphasis with you guys in the defensive backfield, really the fundamentals?
definitely, I'd say that's something that has helped us excel this year in the back end, but as well as a whole defense, focusing on our pillars that we preach every single day at practice. It's implementing the pillar circuit. That's something that's been very big for our defense, block shedding, tackling, things like that. That Coach Volker emphasizes every day in meetings. That every single position coach emphasizes every day in practice. Just focusing on the little things, and if you can do that right, keeping your leverage, things like that, then we're going to be successful on the defensive level. So,
What's it like for you guys, knowing full well, and I'm sure you get texts from your high school teammates and friends about, hey, my gosh, you guys are ranked 25th in the nation now. But with the mantra of Coach Newberry saying, it's still 1-0 and being ranked 25th in the nation doesn't really mean a whole lot halfway through the season.
yeah, no, we haven't even reached any goals that we want to achieve this year so far. So, I mean, it's nice to see that, but that doesn't mean anything to us right now. It's still a want to know mindset every single day at practice, every single play at practice. I mean, in the film room, it's want to know, making sure that you know what corrections you need to get done, and just playing, continuing to play how we play. Coach Newberry preaches it's not what you do, it's how you do it, and ignoring the good noise and the bad noise and not letting it sway us one way or the other. Is something that he's been preaching about all season, honestly. So I'm just making sure that we're playing still to that high level that we need to, and not letting anything slip, not letting our details slip, not letting our lead eat slip. Then we're going to continue to have success. But ignoring and not letting good and bad noise affect us is something that we need to focus on going forward.
Thank you.
Steve Wino, Associated Press.
Thanks very much, Scott. So a question about your guys' offense that you practiced against, I'm sure, in training camp. What is it? What's so much different about it in terms of the balance and how it kind of knocks opponents sort of off what they do?
Right. I mean, they just do so much that you don't typically see from a triple option offense. I mean, they can go wing T, they can go shotgun, they can go under center. And as a DB specifically, it messes with your eyes a lot. So we get a lot of practice against it as Navy DB, so we're pretty accustomed to it. But just the amount that Coach Cronic has drawn up and the creativity that he's come up with this year is something that I haven't seen from a triple option offense ever, especially since I've been here, and we've had this is our third offensive coordinator since I've been here. So I mean, he's really good at knowing when and what to do at the right time, how to attack a defense when they want to do a certain coverage or something like that. So I would say that's the biggest thing is just the creativity and the how deep his offensive playbook is something that they haven't even scratched the surface on. So.
Guys, the defense with Charlotte, not sure which quarterback's going to play. I know you have to prepare for both, but like, how does that affect kind of how you guys approach this game and two or maybe three very different quarterbacks?
Right. So, as a defense, we keep the same mindset every single game. Focus on ourselves, focus on what we need to do to win the game. We talk about having a faceless opponent, nameless faceless opponent. They're going to do stuff that they like to do, but we can't focus on that. Just focus on the controllables, what we can control, our lead, our effort, our attitude, our toughness, our fundamentals, our mindset, just everything that we can control. If we focus on that, which we've been doing a great job of so far, then, it doesn't really matter who we're playing against, where we're playing at. Coach Volker likes to say, we could be playing in the Severn River for all who cares. We're gonna play Navy football, Navy defense football. So.
Is that good, Steve?
Yeah, I'm good, Scott. Thank you.
Okay. Wags. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It should have been Gary. My bad.
Oh,
Gary came up
okay.
first.
I'll go.
My bad. Gary's got some
Don't
questions about Colin Ramos. My
don't you
fault.
dare ever mix me up with him again. Just
My
kidding.
bad.
Come
My
on,
bad.
Greg.
Hey, listen, I want to ask you a couple of questions about Colin Ramos. And can you start with what are some of the ways, whether it's his personality, how he communicates, how he shows how to play the game, that he's absolutely worthy of being a captain?
Yeah. I mean, Colin, he's probably the most detailed football player I've ever met in my life, and ever played with. He just the way he carries himself, just throughout the building, you can tell that he's different from everybody else. And he's not even trying to be. It's just him. It's just how he is as a person. He's the nicest person you'll ever meet, and he can just I don't know how he does. He turns into the meanest guy on the field, and he's gonna give you 100% effort every single time. So just him bringing up the defense with his play. He's not the most vocal person unless he has to be, but just seeing him play the way he does, it inspires everyone and it makes everyone else around him want to play better. So just that's pretty much all you want from your captain, someone who can lead you when you need to be led and who can lead you through example when they need to show you through example. So I mean, Colin, he's done a great job of that all year, and he's inspiring this whole defense to play the way we're playing right now. So
He's not the first 210-pound inside linebacker at Navy, but whether it's seeing what he does live, watching it on film when you're studying, and evaluating, what's some of the secret sauce, how he continues to, whether it's shed a block, just get to a spot quick enough to be a factor on the ball, things like that. How does he pull that off?
so we talk about it, 1-0 mentality, and he is the epitome of that every single play. I mean, he's going to give you 100% effort with his eyes, with his detail, with his physicality, with his speed. He's going to be right where he needs to be every single time. I mean, the biggest thing I've seen from him this year was, his coverage skills have increased tremendously. I mean, he's covering the flats for us, sailing into coverage, carrying receivers across the field when he needs to. I mean, he knows what he has to do every single play, and he's going to do it to the best of his ability. And that's all you can ask for out of your captain: 100% effort, 100% detail, perfect eyes, great technique. I mean, and it's just work. He put in a lot of work for this, and it's starting to pay off. And he's doing a really good job at leading us, and he's helped us a lot in the back end. So,
Appreciate it.
yes, sir.
Now it's Wags' turn.
Andrew, what are you seeing out of this Charlotte offense? Obviously, last year when you played them, they were still developing as an offense, but they are completely different this year than you saw what they did to East Carolina. What's your thoughts on Charlotte?
Yeah, they've got a great team this year. They're very versatile. They had a great game against ECU in the air and on the ground. So we got our hands full this week for sure. They've got long receivers, they've got fast receivers, they got big running backs, good tight ends. So I mean, they've got everything. But we just got to focus on ourselves this week. Make sure that we know what we're looking at. Make sure we know what coverages we're going to run, what calls we're going to make, how to play those calls, how to play against them. Scouting report is crucial for me, at least personally. So knowing my personnel is going to be big this week for sure.
What about the young freshman quarterback, true freshman right out of high school, but he looks, more than his years?
Definitely. Very, very skilled quarterback for being so young. We've got to make sure that we, show him different looks maybe, as a young quarterback. So we're going to try and do as much as we can to get in his head a little bit, but just sticking to our fundamentals. This is a fundamental game right here. And if we can stick to that, we'll be pretty good.
So, earlier this season, Memphis was ranked and you played them, and it was, a chance to really tell the world what you all were all about by beating them, upsetting them. So, supposedly, now Charlotte comes in here with a chance to knock off a ranked Navy opponent and make a name for itself. You got to be wary of that?
Definitely. Everybody, any away game, they're gonna come in your house and they're gonna try and take your money. Honestly, they're gonna try and take what you've worked for all season, because they have something that they're working for too. But we treat it like another game. We treat it like another game week. We don't change anything that we've been doing. We don't prepare any differently. You just take it every day. Every day is your best day, and it's like that because it's your next day. So just taking it step by step, day by day, practice by practice, play by play. It's just the way that you have to attack it is no different than any other game. Um, Honestly, it should enhance you a little more. So, yeah, we're ready. We're excited.
So I think Pete Metters was talking to Coach Newberry on Monday about Deshaun Peel and how physical he was in run support against Air Force. Does that inspire you? I mean, I know Deshaun likes to bring the wood. He's a more physical corner. I mean, you guys are supposed to be, uh, cover guys, skill guys, but you got to also bring some physicality, don't you?
Definitely, that's definitely something we pride ourselves here in the Navy corners room. Being the most physical corners in the country, stepping up and run support when we're needed, block destruction, and especially in a game like Air Force Army, that's where we have to step up big time in the run game and help those guys out. So yeah, we've been preaching that. That's something that we've been trying to get better at this year. We've done a great job so far. DP had a great game against Air Force, and I think that we're just building up. That's just the scratching the surface. We're going to keep triggering run support. We're going to keep doing what we need to do to help the defensive line, the linebackers out, just like they help us out in coverage. So, that's something that's been a key point of emphasis coming out of fall camp, and I think we've done a great job of it so far this season.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
We'll make another trip around. Scott Wyckoff.
What has it meant to you to have the stability with Coach Green there for you each and every season you've been at the Naval Academy?
Right, it's been great. Coach Green, he's a great guy, and he's more than just football. That's what honestly makes him so effective. He knows exactly how to reach you. He knows how to talk to you, and he gives you lessons outside of football. He gives you life lessons. He's a great coach. He knows that if you're playing well, that you know what you're doing, not to mess with you, not to mess with your flow of the game. He just knows his players. He knows his personnel extremely well. And he's been extremely helpful for me, being the only coach that I've had here in the corners room. And the addition of Coach Lewis has amplified that by a lot. So, I mean, those two together they're a great coaching duo, and we definitely needed it. And I think that's
playing football at the Naval Academy is so unique. Does it help even more, though, that he's done what you've done, been there, done that? He's played in the system. He's lived in Bancroft Hall. He's gone to class. He's done everything that you're doing and knows what's expected of you.
Right, definitely. It definitely helps out a ton. He knows exactly, like you said, he knows exactly what we're going through every single day. He's been here, so he knows exactly what advice to give us when we're asking. And he also knows, when we're trying to get one by maybe a little bit. So he keeps us on top of our stuff for sure every single day of practice, and make sure that we're not falling behind, whether it's in school, on the field, with military duties, things like that. So having a guy that's been here and basically lived our lives before us, it's a big help. Definitely helps us out and takes the ease off us for sure.
Talking about a big help, what's it like playing at home with the brigade there, having virtually every person that you go to school with there supporting you for each and every home game like they'll be doing against Charlotte?
It's huge. It's more. That's what makes this place so special. No other school in the country except Army and Air Force requires their students to be there. So having 4,000 students that you go to class with every day, and I see the struggle you go through, cheering you on every single day or every single Saturday, it's huge. I mean, they've been great for us this season. The Memphis game was a game I'll never forget. That atmosphere that the fans, provided for us, they're great. I love the Navy football support team, and everything that they've done for us this year has been amazing up to this point. And I know they're going to keep going. They're going to keep cheering us on. They're going to be behind us every single step of this way. So I'm excited.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got some good stories on midshipman RB Green if you ever need any ammunition, Andrew.
I'll be listening for it.
Dave, are you good? Wino?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, Gary Lambert.
Andrew, could we, speaking of the Memphis game, and I'll start by saying, of course, Colin showed what a presence he was last year, bringing up those 100 tackles. But in a game that defense obviously didn't play a whole role in, and apologies to Ray Lane with the game-ending pick six, how did you guys realize as that game's rolling along that Ramos is just piling up those tackles and would eventually get 20 of them? And if not, when you studied the film post-game, did you kind of note that?
Right.
Like, there he is again?
Yeah, in that type of game, you're kind of focusing on, doing your job, doing your 111th. So in the midst of the game, you don't really notice what many other people are doing because you're so locked in. But in the press conference after the game, they told us that he had 20 tackles, and me and Ray just looked at each other like whoa. But watching the film, you see he's all over the field every single play. I mean, you see why he has 20 tackles. He knows his job, he knows his responsibility, and once he gets that done, he's running to the ball, just like everyone else is, and he's getting in on those tackles. He's never taking a play off. He's never going to take a second off of the game. So just his relentless effort and his relentless ability to do his job, his 111th, is something that makes him special every single play when he's on the field.
Yeah, and he made impactful plays.
Exactly.
I mean, in the middle of those 20.
Right. So just being able to elevate his game in that type of game with that many snaps is something that you really don't see, and it's something that's special, especially from a linebacker. So
Thanks again, Andrew.
thank you.
Flags.
Well, you were talking about RB Green. I'm writing a story about another guy who's in the role that RB once held, the director of player development. And Brandon Jones, I mean, how do you utilize a resource like that?
Captain Jones, he's an extreme help, and he's held a standard that, we may not have seen here before. And as far as, upholding outside of football standards, he's really elevated Navy football in that sense. And he's always there for us. Just like you said, Coach Green, Captain Jones did exactly what we did, played on defense, so I can relate to him even more. And, we have great conversations, whether I need something in the hall, whether I need something in Bancroft or Ricketts, he's going to be there to help me out, and he's going to know exactly what to do. So, he's really just our support staff. Once again, as I was talking about earlier, like anytime we need something, if we tell him or Gunnery Sergeant Nichols, they're both there for us whenever we need it. So they've been a huge help this year, taking off the stress of the military and school side of things so that we can focus more on football and making our life extremely easier.
So he mentioned that he can advocate for you guys in the hall or with military leadership, but he also can guide you. I mean, I've heard him at practice telling you guys what you're supposed to do and when you got to be there at this time, do this, be in this uniform. Is that is it great to have somebody who's kind of always kind of looking after your back?
Definitely. He's an extreme help. And he's crucial to our daily life here, honestly. It's a lot that we've got to keep up with sometimes. And he's always there to remind us, always there to keep us on edge, and always there to keep us in the know for everything that we've got to do for future and honestly present things that we have going on. So just having him there and having him as a reminder, having him as, kind of like a liaison between the hall and the football team it's crucial to how we have so much success this year. Takes a lot of stress off of us.
Coach, what have you seen from Charlotte over the last couple games where they've really found their stride offensively?
Yeah, you see an offense playing at a really high level. I think the offensive line, the running backs have established the run game and played really physically. and moved people and created gaps and seams. And the backs have done a great job being explosive and running really hard. I think they've got tight ends that are playmakers in the pass game and physical blockers as well in the run game. I think their scheme is excellent and very challenging. I think they've got improved quarterback play that just keeps getting better and better. And I know they get the starter back, and I know they said it'll be a game time decision. I think both the quarterbacks are really, really talented and really good players that make them go. And then I think they've got speed and explosion at the receiver position that can really press vertically. And so I think they're starting to come into their own, obviously as an offensive unit, to put 55 points up against East Carolina, who plays really good defense is impressive.
Also, we've talked to a couple of the guys, and they say that they really remember the physical nature of the game last year. Is that something you remember, and also that you've seen on film this year?
Yeah, and I guess that's what I was trying to allude to with the offensive line, the running backs, the tight ends, is how physical they play. I mean, they want to establish the run game and in the line of scrimmage, and really try to control the game that way. But they're really effective in the pass game too, and we know that they're a complete offense coming into this game.
I know you really wanted to get back to basics, kind of hit the reset button with fundamentals during the bye week. How did that go?
Yeah, that's a major emphasis for us at all times. I think the guys really attacked what we were trying to get done and how we were trying to get it done. I think we've taken a step forward in terms of that, and we got to continue to do that today in practice, and Thursday in practice, and Friday in practice, and put it on display and be a better version of ourselves than we were last time we were out there a couple of weeks ago.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Scott.
Mike, James.
So kind of piggybacking off of that question, how important is it to kind of get back to those fundamentals after you just played an option team and then coming into, for lack of a better term, a more normal offense that you're facing?
Sure. I think, Mike, every game fundamentals are critically important, and that there may be a different scheme that you're playing against or things like that, but our vision, our angles, our tackling, our block destruction, those things have to be on full display every week. And if we just go out there and Coach Hall said it this morning, if you just go out there and you're the same as you were the previous week, you're going to put yourself at risk for defeat. You have to continue to get better. I know it's a coach's cliche, but it's the God's honest truth. Like, you have to, every time you go out there, every practice you go out there, every game you go out there, you have to improve. And it comes back to the fundamentals. That, like, we all love scheme and this and that and all those types of things. I'm not saying that's not important, but player wise, we have to play with great fundamentals, and we got to keep getting better at those things every week.
So Charlotte's been banged up for a good part of the year, and only now are they really starting to get healthy. What's it like to plan for a team where you're not even sure you've seen their best stuff yet?
Sure. It's challenging, and you got to dive back and watch a lot of different film and go back and see what you can find on particular guys and what they've done well, what they've done this year, but what they've done previously as well. So it is a challenge. Luckily we've had 2 weeks to be able to do those things. Can be a blessing and a curse. Sometimes we can go down some rabbit holes on some of those things, but we're definitely going to turn over every stone we possibly can to gather information, because ultimately knowledge is power.
So one of the things that Charlotte likes to do is before the snap, they do a lot of shifting around, and I think maybe ECU got left a couple of gaps uncovered on a couple of those. It might have affected them a little bit. How important is it to keep your eyes right in a game where they're going to be shifting around and moving around a lot before the snap?
Yeah, I think it's the game. Just even though we're not playing, an under center triple option team and things like that, like the game is very, very similar in terms of your eye discipline has to be correct, and you have to understand your alignment, your responsibility, your gap integrity. You know, we talk to the guys constantly about get aligned, put your eyes on your key, and let your rules apply. You know, and that's ultimately why all these offenses try to do those things. It's the same thing that our guys do, same things that the guys that we've done before is, you know, the shifts, the motions, the trades, is just trying to find an angle advantage, a schematical advantage, a numbers advantage. And it's our job defensively to not allow that to happen.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Gary Lambert.
Hey, PJ. Doing a piece on Ramos, and I'd like to get your sort of take over his 4-year, arc, his development, his steady improvement.
Sure.
Where the lights really shine as he's gotten to where he is now.
Yeah, I've told a few guys this, and I'll continue to shout this from the mountaintops with Ramos is.
Right, so where you say from the mountaintops.
What's
That's
that?
Let's start at the mountaintop.
I'll shout it from the mountaintops. All right. And then it froze on me.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll say this time and time again. He's really hungry. And he's been hungry ever since he stepped foot on campus. He plays with, obviously, a chip on his shoulder, like he's got something to prove. So freshman year, I always revert back to that. Freshman year, we pulled a couple linebackers up ahead of him a few games through the season, and I'll never forget it. He called me after practice, and we spoke about it, and we had a pretty heated conversation about why that it was, and he took everything that I told him and magnified it and turned those things into a positive for himself. And then he got an opportunity. I believe it was kickoff return first, and went out there and dominated his one-on-one matchup on kickoff return, and then got an opportunity on punt return and went and dominated his one-on-one matchup and became a guy that we really continued to trust and give more and more opportunities for. And by the end of the year, started the Temple game, game 11, and then started the Army game in game 12 in MetLife Stadium. So you think about a guy that was on scout team for half of his freshman year, and then his first start is in Lincoln Financial Field against Temple, and then his second start is in MetLife Stadium against Army. And going into that offseason, going into a sophomore year, he was just even more hungry to continue to grow and learn the defense and get his body right and get better and better. And the thing I was talking about in terms of shouting from the mountaintops, I have a lot of people ask me about Ramos, and the thing that sticks out to me is that everything's important. And I know Strauss has heard me say this before, and I'll continue to say it because it's easy to talk about. It's hard to be about it. Is this meeting that we're going to have here in 20 minutes is going to be the most important meeting of the year. Like, he's going to be in there. He's going to sit right next to me. He's going to ask a lot of questions to make sure he knows exactly what his job is and where his eyes are and what his responsibility is and what he's responsible for on every particular play in there. And then when we go to the walkthrough is going to be the most important walkthrough. And then when we go to practice, every rep at practice is going to be the most important rep at practice. And he's the same way in the weight room. And then he's the same way on game day. Like, that's just how he operates. And it's easy for me to sit here and talk about this on this media Zoom. It's hard for anybody to be like that, especially 18 to 23-year-olds. But that's how he goes about his business, and that's how he continues to improve and get better and better. And that's why you try to see. We talk about every time we go out there, we want to do things better than we've ever done them before. He lives that, and that's why he's able to get done the things that he's able to get done out there.
Can you speak to the variety of things that you call on him to do game after game? I mean, I don't know how many snaps he plays. Almost 100%, all of them. Yeah. So, I mean, he's a good cover guy. He can fly sideline to sideline, etc. Mr. Fundamental. What are some of the key fundamental blocks that have put him in a position to make so many tackles and to avoid the 300-pound gorilla that wants to block the hell out of him and so forth?
Well, I think he has great instincts. You know, when his mom and dad pulled him out of the crib, he was a linebacker. He just understands space. He understands blocking schemes. He understands how to set up a potential block for block destruction. He's got a good feel for when to potentially run under or run over a block to be able to get to the ball carrier. And those things are, again, they're easy things to talk about when you're watching the film from the sky and all those things, but it's a lot more difficult when there's a guy that's got 100 pounds on you or 8 inches on you, bearing down on you, and you got to make a split-second decision. He really understands the game. He understands spacing, and he has great instincts. And I think all those things come back to he's a football guy. And I think that's one of the things that really sticks out with him and our team is we got a bunch of guys that love football. You know, and I'll be sitting around. I was here Monday night watching tape, and I get a clip from him on my phone about, hey, I saw this. This is just like how we do that, isn't it? And it was an NFL clip that he saw, and he videotaped it on his phone and sent it to me. You know, he'll do the same thing with opponent tape. You know, hey, coach, if they line up like this, do we want to call this in this situation? You know, he's constantly thinking about the game. He's a student about the game. Football is really important to him. And when things are really important to you, you generally improve and you get better at them, and you're able to maximize everything that you have to the game and to your team.
So my last question for this round, when you watch that tape and really drill down on his Memphis performance, which obviously there's a lot for you to be not too happy about. You know, thank you, Ray Lane, for the game ender. But when you just separate how he accumulated, there was a lot of meaningful plays he made in those 20 tackles, for God's sake. Can you just break that down a tad before I let you go? And just maybe you stopped it and rewound a couple going, he did that. He got there.
I do that every week. I mean, he's smoked through a keyhole at times. You know, I've given up trying to figure out, like, the first couple of games that he was out there, I was like, man, how did he get through there? You know, and now I don't say it. Now I just expect him to get through there, and I get upset when the other guys don't get through there. You know what I mean? So he's just, it comes down to those two things. I'd love to tell you it's all Coach Wimberly and myself, you know, coaching the heck out of him. I think he really understands the game at a high level. I think he's got great instincts, and he plays every single play like the game's on the line. And a lot of times it is for us. You know we have such a thin margin of error, and that's what we try to instill in our guys is that, you know, there's always, you know, 2, 3, 4 plays throughout the course of a football game that are going to determine the outcome of the game. You know, the thing is, you just don't know which ones they are before they start, and you got to play every game play every play like the game's on the line, and he does that.
Thank you, PJ.
Thanks, Gary.
Wags.
PJ, last season you shut out Charlotte. What can you pinpoint that they're doing better offensively that has them so much improved?
I mean, everything. I mean, I think they've got a great scheme. They've got high talent level. Obviously, second year in the system. For some guys, I know they've got some new guys too. But you know, just you see guys playing more comfortable. You see guys playing more physical, more fast, being able to make plays with the ball in their hands, being able to get the ball to their playmakers. I think they're a much different team than the team that we faced last season.
What can you say specifically about the freshman quarterback, Deshaun Purdy? He's a true freshman, 18 years old, directly out of high school, but apparently in the last 6 quarters, according to Coach Newberry's looked pretty good.
Yeah, he jumps off the film. Exceptional talent, great arm strength. Looks like he has an amazing command of the offense. It looks like the guys around him are inspired by his play and how he goes about his business. Sometimes those guys just bring a certain level of moxie or swagger to the football team and to the offense in particular, and it certainly looks like he does that for them. Provides a lot of confidence, and I think the guys around him, the other 10 guys, and probably the guys on the sideline, have a lot of confidence and trust in him as well. He's a really good player. I mean, he does not look like a freshman whatsoever out there.
I saw a video highlight of him tossing a 45-yard touchdown pass, and it looks like he's got a pretty lively arm.
I mean, he throws the ball as well as anybody we've played since I've been here, and it does not look like it takes much for him to put the ball, 45 yards plus on a rope. I mean, he flicks it, and it is shot out of a cannon coming out of his hand. I mean, he's got a howitzer.
I think Coach Pogge wants to establish the run first and foremost, then go play action. Is that what you're seeing on film? The run, they definitely want to get the run established.
Well, I think most people operate that way. I think they've done a really good job running the ball with, explosive, physical running backs, offensive line, moving people, big bunch of guys that understand the scheme and do a great job with it. We got to be prepared for a lot against these guys. You can't just gear up just for the run. You can't just gear up just for the pass. They're really balanced in the last game versus East Carolina, and obviously in the second half versus Rice as well. And got some things going there that enabled them to come back and win that football game. And they're as hot a team as anybody in the country offensively, in my mind.
Thanks, PJ.
Thanks, Wex.
All right, we'll do 2 questions this time. Scott Wyckoff.
Midway through the season, Coach, what's your assessment of how your depth has developed on defense?
Yeah, I think we are really starting to see some guys come on that is a big deal for us. And some of these games being a little bit lopsided in the fourth quarter has allowed us to get some guys out there and really get great evaluations on guys. And some of the guys have really taken on those roles and continue to get better and better. And it's been awesome to see. You think of a guy like Dylan Spilios, to me, number 57, he sort of sticks out as a guy that's just continued to get better and better every week. And I think Coach Brown does an awesome job with him, but he sticks out as a guy that continues to get better and better. I think Coach Green's done a great job with the cornerbacks and seeing those guys continue to develop and get better, and Coach Hall with those guys on the defensive line as well. And we just keep getting deeper and deeper at those positions, which is big for us.
What kind of feedback did your coaches get coming back from recruiting during the bye week about how the program has evolved over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think everybody's really excited. It's always fun to get out on the road and sell Navy football, and people are excited about Navy football, everything that's going on here. I think that's a testament to Coach Newberry, the culture that he's created here, that in the brand of football that we're playing. It's exciting football. A lot of people talk about, just how this particular football team is really fun to watch, and I think that's a unique thing in today's day and age, football wise, is to hear people say that. I think that's really a cool deal. But there's nothing like, going out there and getting an opportunity to get into high schools and see high school coaches and talk to recruits about what we have going on here and what we see for them moving forward in the future of the program. But yeah, I think it was really rewarding for all of us to get out there, and something we're really looking forward to continue to do. Recruiting is the lifeblood of any program, and we got to have some Jimmies and Joes here.
Yeah. Good luck Saturday.
Thanks, appreciate it, Scott.
Mike.
So Charlotte's got two receivers that both average more than 19 yards to catch. What kind of a challenge does that present? I mean, those are like option numbers.
Yeah. Mike, I mean it. Like when I said it before, like they're a big challenge, period, across the board. I think they have a really, really, really talented group of guys on the offensive side of things, and it makes it a really big challenge because you can't just key in on one guy. If you try to do those things, you're going to get burnt. You're going to get torched. We've got to make sure we do a great job with whatever really we're asking our guys to do with our fixation to detail and be able to execute at a high level. We got to get 11 gold hats to the football on every single play and play great team defense. And that is a major deal for us on Saturdays. We have to play great team defense because they do have such skilled. They got skilled receivers. They got skilled tight ends, running backs. I think that the quarterbacks are good too. I mean, this is a very talented bunch we're going against.
And are you going to get Aniha back this week?
He should be back this week. Yes.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Glad finish us off.
So, Mike asked about Ira. I mean, other than Ira, I don't think you've, knock on wood or the nearest something, but you haven't had a lot of injuries. How good is that 5 games in?
Yeah, I think it's like you said, knock on wood. Number one, we know how those things can operate in the game of football, but I think it's a testament to Jim Carizzi, his staff, the hard work they've put in. Obviously, the hard work that the players in general have put in, and then Jim Barry and his staff working really hard to make sure that our guys continue to stay healthy, and our guys have done a really good job with that. I think the other piece that a lot of times goes unnoticed is just sort of the schedule and the way we go about practice that Coach Newberry has instilled and installed, and we continue to evolve and get better at that. And I think it helps our guys be able to recover, which is always a challenging thing here at the academy with the amount of just overall work that they have to get done and jobs they have to accomplish. I think Coach Newberry's done an amazing job putting together a schedule that really helps our guys be at their best by the time Saturday comes around.
So I think somebody asked Coach Newberry about this Monday, and I just asked Andrew Duhart. But in the Air Force game, the physicality that Deshaun Peel as a cornerback showed in run support, is that how heartening is that to you as a coach? And is that something that's a great example to, we sometimes look at those D-backs, especially the corners, as finesse guys, but they can't be.
There better be no finesse guys on this defense. I can promise you that. That it doesn't fly like that around here, and that's how we operate. Everybody's got to be. I think somebody asked me maybe my first time on this deal about a cover corner or something like that. There's no such thing. Like everybody on our defense has to play with physicality and violence, and has to be ready to get people on the ground and land on top and finish in a dominant position. We have to, and this group that is coming in is physical as anybody that we've played. We need every single guy on defense to play their best game on Saturday. But definitely excited about Peel. I thought he really came to play last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, and we just need him to continue to get better and better. Just because you did it once, these guys will tell you around here, it's what have you done lately? We got to get right back at it.